Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We are here for another book review, and this week we are doing Brandon Mall's Seed of Rebellion. If you guys have been enjoying these book reviews, don't forget to share the video, like, subscribe, do all that. Also, hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I drop my next video. Also, like always, if you guys have any book recommendations you want me to review, drop them down in the comments. Let's hit the intro. As always, the book review is going to be broken down into 4 parts. We're going to have the summary of the book, the cons, pros, and the final thought and ranking. So the main con for me actually in this book is the pacing of the book itself. And that's mainly because a large section of this book is actually them just traveling either to the Seven Veils or the Temple of Myeonimon. And that's about it. There are a couple of important stops they have to make along the way, but for the most part, the book is just them mostly traveling to those 2 locations. I mean, there was a lot of traveling in the first book, but the traveling had a point. They were going to important locations to get the syllables of the word. Whereas in this book, they're just largely traveling to 2 different locations. I just think Brandon Mall could have moved the plot a bit faster when they're traveling. Like, I don't mind the traveling. A lot of the stuff they do intro is interesting to me, but I think it could have moved a bit faster. So the first pro actually is the magic system finally gets a really good detailed explanation. As you guys remember my last video, one of the cons was the magic system really wasn't well explained, and he really fixed it in this book and gave it a really detailed explanation. And most of the explanation of the magic system comes via Rachel, because in this book she's really focusing on learning how to become a really powerful magician. So as Rachel continues to train as a magician, she's constantly getting more powerful. As her power grows, Moldor becomes more interested in her, and eventually she has the choice to either become his apprentice or she will be killed by Moldor. So a really big problem I found with Brandon Mall putting off his explanation of his magic system to this book is because it's not as really well developed as it could be. What I think Brandon Mall really should have done is intro the magic system in book 1 with the scene where Rachel unintentionally does magic, and then they get a basic explanation of the magic system, but not in too much detail. That way, we're not learning all the basics of the magic system in book 2 and focus on the story itself. We can focus on the story, and Brandon Mall can also focus on expanding the magic system instead of just explaining the basics. So another pro that goes along with the last one is the world building really expands. This is because Brandon Mall goes into really meticulous detail on a lot of the stuff that we'd heard of in the first book but really didn't get to see. Like the Seven Veils, the Toravors, and all of the other magic races. We get to see them finally. And I really appreciate this because I'm a massive fan of really detailed and well-explained world building. So the third pro actually is Theron again. A lot of what makes Theron interesting is the interactions with the other people in the group. Most of the members of the group are pretty openly hostile to him because he is a displacer, and like I said before, they are sworn to spy for Moldor. And there's really 2 main reasons Theron ends up deciding to stay with the rebellion. One, because he cannot go back to Moldor. If he does, he's going to get killed. And 2, he's grown really fond of Jason and Rachel, and he doesn't want to see them die. And it's because of that self-preservation and also that love for Jason and Rachel that the group finally slowly starts to trust him over the course of the book. So I'm going to be giving Seed of Rebellion a 7 out of 10. Final thoughts on the book here. I really do appreciate this book. I really still do like it. I really do appreciate all the world building and the character development Brandon Mall puts into this book. But the one real big thing that drags this book down is its pacing. I don't think it's as well paced as the first one was. Whereas the first one was the chase for the magic word, This is basically just one long journey to two really key locations. And it really does have some good stuff in between. I just think Brandon Mall could have sped the plot a bit faster. So I'm going to give Seed of Rebellion a 7 out of 10. If anyone has actually read this book, don't be afraid to drop your review of the book down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Also, hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I drop my next video. As always, if you guys have any book recommendations you want me to read, you can drop them down in the comments. So next week's video, we will be finally finishing the Beyonders trilogy with Beyonders Book 3, Chasing the Prophecy. So don't forget to follow me on social media so you can get information on the videos that I'm working on.